You're talking about forecasting, and I'm sure you've already looked in depth at 2022. What place does online community, digital fundraising, and website communication play in the overall strategy as you look at your organization you're leading?
Well, I guess the question is what in our world points against an ever more digital future?
Right.
Because my observation, perhaps yours as well, is that there is every indication that all parts of commerce, of connection, of private, nonprofit, and public sector business and impact and value creation will be happening in a digital universe. And every I can assure you, especially through my experience with this MBA program, every private sector company is thinking about this avidly, and in many cases have been thinking about this for decades.
Hmm.
So why is our sector a little bit late to the party?
It feels like nonprofits are usually 10, maybe more years behind the marketplace, which is a shame in many regards. And the ones that can sneak in early end up really finding their fundraising profit.
Yes, and I think that has to do with an often very short-term lens that nonprofit organizations take. Their goals and objectives are in a 1, 2, or 3 year framework, and not in a 10-year framework. Um, and then, of course, my view, shared by others, that there just is sort of an historic undercapitalization of nonprofit organizations, and usually in service to this overhead myth, right? That like, oh, we need
Mhm.
to see much more of each dollar going to program. Well, programs are run by people and by organizations that have solid foundations. So let's get rid of this idea that you can actually really calculate this overhead ratio that has anything to do with impact. We really need to focus on an appropriate level of investment and capitalization for organizations so that they can more effectively realize their impact. And that includes digital transformation. So for us, certainly the advent of COVID has accelerated the Washington chorus and everyone in our sector's embrace of digital. Great. And we need to be thinking in a future, in a forecasting manner about what that looks like, because guess what? Our customers are going to be buying more online, are going to be living their lives more online. Um, and we have to, as any organization does, we have to meet our customers where they are. So we need to be ready in every respect, with ticketing, with products, with services, with fundraising and development. We need to be ready in every respect to meet the customer of 5 or 10 years from now, let alone all the customers today that are underserviced because our organizations are not optimally designed for an easy customer experience online. It's not only about are we online, it's what is the quality of that online experience for our customers and stakeholders.
You know, I'm my brain's always brainstorming. When I was thinking of the Washington chorus, and I was doing some work with a organization yesterday, it triggered a thought, and the idea of being able to take something like a webinar, which is a 1 hour, 90-minute webinar format, and create a link so other youthful orchestras and choirs could for a once a year fee, be able to access a webinar to see practice. What does practice look like? What is, these type of things. And it not only becomes a help to others, it also creates revenue stream coming into the organization by using digital things like webinars, like communication funnels, email funnels, these type of things. Suddenly the world becomes greater than just the Kennedy Center, right? And we're end up growing beyond that. And with larger organizations with a team, that's easier to understand. But there are small orchestras, small choirs, small nonprofits out there that everybody on the team is doing the mission of the team and not necessarily focusing on fundraising. And it becomes instrumental for them to understand the power that they can use in the current digital formats that are out there.
Well, sure. So I cut my teeth in very small organizations, founding an organization and then working for an organization with less than $100,000 annual budget. And this, so I have worked in those very small shops And what is a significant asset that those organizations have? It's their board of directors, their community of
Mhm.
supporters. And the boards and community of supporters for those very small shops or moderately small shops must be activated and to be engaged and have clear responsibilities, clear roles as a working board at that size, so that they are able to punch above their weight. Which doesn't mean necessarily that every $100,000 organization or $1 million organization should aspire to be larger. Not necessarily, but they should have an operating model and a governance model that supports them in optimally realizing the potential of that organization. And when we're talking about digital, we're talking about all channels, right? We're talking about social. We're talking about inbound and outbound. Uh, uh, we're talking about every single part of this digital experience that customers, that are stakeholders in the world, and we do, to your point, we have so many assets. Sorry, there's a little fire truck going down the road. We have so many assets that we can deploy to motivate and inspire an ever growing community of supporters. I'll just give one example. We have done some real investment in growing our digital presence on TikTok. Now, uh, TikTok is its own unique channel, right? TikTok is not Instagram. TikTok is not Twitter. TikTok is not Facebook. TikTok is not your website. It's its own unique channel, and so your strategies and approach for TikTok should be unique to that channel. We've seen right now an enormous return with respect to the cost of acquisition for new followers on that channel, and this is a top of funnel piece for us. This is about more eyes on our organization. This is not about today the close of sale for those users, but we now have almost 31,000 followers on TikTok, probably even more by the time that you and I finish this podcast. And we have more followers than the Kennedy Center, the Metropolitan Opera, and the New York Philharmonic combined, right?
Wow, that's
And and and
incredible.
and this is we have an amazing consultant we work with, Tyler. Thank you for all your work. Um, uh, and again, this is a longer term play. This is thinking about the future. If we took a short term lens, we would say, um, okay, that's fine, but what's the conversion rate of those followers? How many of them are buying? Right? We're less interested in that than in building a much larger general following in service to having more people at the top of that funnel that could eventually convert to supporters and buyers.
Wow, that's good.